Hello, and welcome to Waves of YA, a podcast focused on young adult literacy, brought to you by the Ocean County Library's Teen Literacy Workgroup.
Welcome to Waves of YA. Today we are discussing books and video games. I am Chris over at Island Heights, and with me today is...
I'm Vince from Manchester.
And I'm Kat from Jackson.
So our first question today is, what type of gamer are you?
I wouldn't consider myself a variety gamer. There are times when I really avoid multiplayer games. I have to avoid them because there are sometimes online communities around games can be a bit of a toxic space. A lot of competitive banter and hardcore trashing each other. So I try to avoid that. I like to think of myself as like a single player gamer. I love games where you can just play by yourself offline and just experience the story.
I like the social aspect of watching my friend play a video game while I knit on the couch. I'm more of like, I'll watch you play, and then I'll play like rhythm games, but like DDR, Just Dance, stuff like that, which are the only like video game that I really like have played recently, and that's because of the show.
That's a good game.
It's so much fun.
Really good. I would definitely say I'm also a variety gamer. Right now, I'll admit, as cheesy as it is, I've been very into Fortnite to the point where it's probably a problem. But you know what? It's totally fine. But otherwise, I'm definitely more on the cozy side. So like Animal Crossing, Stardew Valley, that's definitely my jam.
Do you get to talk to like the teens and tweens about Fortnite while you're playing it? Because like they love it. And they ask me questions and I'm like, I don't know, guys.
Yes, I do. It's hysterical because I tell them and they just stop and they look at me and they're like, you play Fortnite? And I'm like, yeah. But you know what? It's hysterical. And just, you know, they'll do the emotes and I'm like, okay, I'm not that good, but okay.
I think I'm sensing a theme here because her background, Chris, is Minecraft. And that requires a lot of building. And Fortnite, you build a lot as well. So I think you're just a builder in general, Kat.
Maybe.
I like a Tetris of like, I want to fit those blocks into the open spaces.
Yes.
So that's like a block-based game.
Yeah.
Chris,
Definitely.
you said something very interesting, how you like to watch your friend or your partner game. Does that also translate to you love watching YouTubers and Twitch streamers game on live stream? While you just watch them play a game that you have no intention of playing, but you've seen them play a scary game or a story game?
No, it's literally just hanging out with my friends, because then I'll get to talk to my friend. One of our coworkers, my bestie, replayed all of Assassin's Creed 4, the pirate one, just so I could watch it and provide bonus pirate facts, because I'm like, this is my jam. And she's like, you're never going to play this. You can barely handle figuring out controls. Anything past Spyro is beyond your ability. So she's just like, I will play this so you can enjoy the pirate facts and tell me what's wrong. And I was like, yes! So I like that interaction while they're playing. And watching in college, my friends play Fatal Frame. You have to take a picture of ghosts.
Oh, that's a horror game.
Yeah, all the lights out. And then like us, the suspense as I'm like, I'm just like here cozy crocheting a blanket and then like panic screaming as like my friend's character's getting killed on the screen. Like so much fun. But like I don't have that feeling with watching YouTubers. So I'm just kind of like, But I watch other YouTubers where I'm like, I get the parasocial relationship and it just doesn't apply for video games.
Okay. That's fair.
That is fair. This is another one of Chris's questions. What books heavily featuring video games have you read, or they're the video games as part of the plot? Do you want me to go first?
Go for it.
I think one of my favorite books that includes video games in some capacity is Ender's Game by Orson Scott Card. No spoilers, but I'll give a brief premise for all you listeners that actually want to read a book, and you can read this book through the Ocean County Library. You can borrow it from us. But Ender's Game is about humanity is at war with this alien race, and they're losing it, and they need heroes, and they need people who can command their armies to victory. And in order to find these leaders, they scour the world and find the most intellectually superior children that they can find, the geniuses, the savants. and they gather them up and they put them through rigorous training and tests in a battle school. It's the strongest of the strong, survival of the fittest. Everything is a test and everything is a challenge. The main character, Ender, is one of the smartest kids, and he just faces adversity after adversity. But what I love what they do with this book is they incorporate the training in battle simulations, which, if you think about it, that's a lot of video games, like Call of Duty and Fortnite, like what Caitlin loves. It's just like a battle simulation. That's how they get better. That's how they get stronger and smarter.
So I've also read Ender's Game. I knew it was kids, but reading it the first time, I was like, oh, he's a 6-year-old. Like, he is a child, not like a tween.
Yes.
I was not prepared for that. And like reading it when I was older, I was like, yes, I know the plot of Ender's Game. I know War Games, the movie. I know the twist, but like it's still really well written, and like how it's presented, and like all the additional things it addresses of he's a child war vet that gets addressed are handled really well, and also the training that they're putting a child through. So like even knowing the twist ending isn't going to ruin the book for you. So I had no problem reading that. He wrote Ready Player One, which I loved. Ernest Cline, yeah.
Ernest Cline.
Ernest Cline. Ready Player One, absolutely loved. Another video game. It's mostly him, the protagonist, playing in the video game. Like every once in a while you see him outside of his avatar, but loved it. It's a lot of fun Easter eggs. Like I love 80s pop culture, so I was like, this is my thing. I can figure out the clues. But he did Armada, and I was like, I know Ender's Game, I know War Games, and I was like, I think the other ones did it better.
Did you watch the adaptation? They adapted that to a movie, Ready Player One.
I did, and I felt like it, especially I understand copyright and stuff makes it harder for movies to have like, oh, their avatar is Optimus Prime. It's like, yeah, we can't afford that. A lot of the like pop culture elements had to get scrubbed for cost. But it was enjoyable, but comparing, because I feel like I read them close together, so it's like, it's so fresh in my mind where I'm like, oh, I see all the things we're missing.
That's what usually happens, it feels like. And I feel awful because I've actually never read Ender's Game, so now I'm like, oh no, I need to get on this. But this seems really interesting.
Yeah,
it
is very interesting. It's written in such a way that it's a YA book that feels like an adult book.
Yeah.
Like anyone of all ages can enjoy it. But have you read anything, Kate?
I have. I really like things that incorporate romance to some degree. And I was very surprised to come across this one a few years ago called Don't Read the Comments. It follows this teen girl who becomes super famous because she's streaming this game called Reclaim the Sun. And everything that she's doing basically is to take care of her family. So that is a big component of the book. So all of her streaming, all of the money that she earns is going back to her family. But there's people who are not too thrilled with that. And it's kind of scary because the big part of the book revolves around the fact that she gets docked, which is utterly terrifying for a teenager and having to experience all these things. And then she comes across someone named Erin who helps her along and tries to help figure out what's going on. But he doesn't want to play the video games. He wants to write them, and they just get this friendship. It's really sweet. It's very fun, even despite all the really bad things that are happening. But it's really fun.
I'm glad you said it's fun, because as soon as you're like, they got doxxed, I was like, nope, absolutely nightmare. Like,
oh, believe me,
I would be stress sweating reading it. Of like, no, can't handle it. Like,
I think I did when I first read it, but as things progress and as the story goes on, it's like, okay, this is awful, but we can make something good out of it. And that was one of the more important things that I gathered from the book, which was nice, because yes, it was definitely really, really scary. It's an unfortunate reality if you're streaming. So to see it play out so, I guess, accurately was, I don't even want to say refreshing, because it's not refreshing because it's terrible, but just to see it, it's interesting.
It's important to have. One of the YouTubers I watch, and he's like an adult man, who filmed himself driving somewhere, and I was like, I know where you live.
Oh, yes.
It's a weird coincidence that I just went to college near where your apartment is, but like, I've driven past those apartments. I know. Did you not think that through? Did you not realize how much information you just gave about yourself? Driving to McDonald's while talking to the internet?
Yes.
It's so scary. And we grew up with stranger danger, lie to everyone, don't tell anyone your name, don't show your face, all those things. And then that shift with MySpace where we start not be an anonymous username in chat rooms was during our lifetime. And now these kids are running around just being like, here's my whole face and this is the street I live on. And I'm 12 years old. And I'm like, where are your parents?
I think the way you described your book and how accurate it is, I think that's going to reach a lot of teen audiences because there are a lot of teens who are influencers or want to be influencers, whether in the social media space or the gaming space. And that's a very real reality of these trolls who don't have anything better to do. And they're like, oh, why don't I just swat someone or call SWAT team on someone or something crazy like that. That's a very scary reality of being a public figure. I think in that.
Yeah.
The book Slay, I can't remember the author right now, is similar to, the pink graffiti kind of picture where the protagonist, I forget every single name, and I meant to double
Brittany Morris is the author.
Thank you. Where she, suspension of disbelief of you don't have the servers to be running this MMO, but MMO, all Black historical figures, Black culture, super cool. But she also gets doxxed at one point in the book, and the fallout of that as well, and also people getting upset of it's a safe space for the Black community is what she created in the gaming universe and world, and people trying to get into that, and then also it's a high school girl running this, and the fallout of you're how old?
Yeah,
that also deals with that reality of, hey, you thought this was a secret, you were keep living two separate lives between who you are with your friends and running a whole video game, colliding into each other and imploding for a little bit.
Do you want to read the next question, Caitlin?
What games based on books have you played? Did you read the book first?
So I mentioned I played The Witcher 3 only.
Oh, nice.
I watched the TV show and then borrowed the game from my friend. And going from the last thing I played with Spyro to The Witcher 3 was jarring. And then I didn't read the books until I finished the video game. So I was I know who these characters are. I watched a TV show. Good enough. And it was still because I had enough of a clue, and they do a good job explaining who everyone is. So even if you didn't read the books or watch the show, because the show didn't exist when the video game was made, where you understood who everyone was. The problems I had were me problems of I'm not good at video games. But the plot was fine.
I was kind of the opposite, I think. I played the game first. So there's one of my favorite game series of all time is called BioShock. It's awesome first-person shooter with survival horror elements. But I played that game first. And after playing the first game when I was in high school and just being like, oh my God, this was amazing. And then figuring it out, it was based off Ayn Rand. I'm like, all right, I got to read Ayn Rand and I'll understand it. Too hard. Ayn Rand's too hard for me.
Is it which one of her books? I didn't know this. I'm learning right now.
Atlas Shrugged is extremely hard. I gotta reread it. I think it's because I was a high school student and I didn't appreciate it as much. It was Atlas Shrugged because that was the one that took elements incorporated into BioShock. But then I figured out that because of the success of the video game, they hired someone to actually write a prequel to the game. And it's called BioShock Rapture by John Shirley. When I tell you that this book is amazing, it's amazing. It kind of builds on the world building that you kind of walk into in BioShock. And also in the game, it's the aftermath of a revolutionary war, civil war inside the city. And then the book details events leading up to that war, how the powder keg of everyone being angry at each other happened and how the war itself. So I really like that about the book.
That's awesome. I love that it's a book based on a game based on a book. And Atlas Shrugged's 600 pages. It's a chunky boy. I read Anthem. It's short, it's sweet. My dad and I both listened to Rush where he's like, read this. So I get the tone of BioShock based on Ayn Rand.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Is that the one with the 40s music or is that Fallout?
Yeah. You're absolutely right. It's the 40s.
I've watched people play this then.
but it's all takes place in an underwater city, a city built on the ocean floor.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah, I was gonna say that I haven't played any games based on books, but I'm totally a liar because Lord of the Rings is a thing.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I was like, no, I've never done this. And I'm like, oh wait, Lord of the Rings Online is definitely in that category of I definitely have.
Yeah.
So I was thinking of like all the Lego games.
Oh yeah.
I was like,
yeah.
I was like, I actually played Lego Harry Potter at one point.
Mhm. Oh yes.
I mean, I don't do 100% completions. I like definitely played part of someone else's game where they're like, here, you can have the controller for a little bit. Maybe you can handle this video game. And I'm like, boop, boop, boop. Okay, I don't like it enough to like buy it, but like, I was like, that's my skill level.
Oh.
No, I forgot about the Harry Potter games too.
Yeah.
Wow, I'm really a liar. I completely forgot that those existed. I guess it was just the way that Harry Potter was set up. There was so much media going out at the same time that it's hard to even think about the fact like, oh, there was the video games. Oh, there was the board games. There was literally everything at the time. So yeah.
It was like inescapable for the whole decade because the books were coming out for a full 10 years.
Yeah.
And the movies simultaneously. And
they
like
built the world in Universal Studios.
Yeah.
Yes.
And everything.
Yeah, it was so all encompassing where I'm like, we haven't had something other than Taylor Swift like that since then.
Yeah, it's
only Twilight. Twilight doesn't have a theme park.
Ooh, Hunger Games does.
Hunger Games has a theme park?
Yes. So it's not a full theme park. I believe it's in Dubai, but they have a whole section just dedicated to being in Panem. So you go to the Capitol. I think there's a roller coaster. I can't remember what else there is, but it's really, really cool. And the pictures are incredible. And I want to go at some point just to say, I went to the Capitol.
But
I
was in the Hunger
Games.
Games. We're going to have to fly all the way to Dubai for that.
Yeah, it is a bit of a hike, but it might be worth it.
Plenty of tourist things to do out in Dubai, too. So you can do like
absolutely.
that and then like just... That's such a weird choice for like a theme park.
I know. Yeah, it's in hold on. Now there's another one that's saying in China too. So now, you know what? Now I'm not sure. But I'm pretty sure it's Dubai. Huh.
There's one in China and Dubai, it looks like. So you're right, it's in both places.
Wait, this says that they have Twilight there too.
Oh my goodness gracious.
So, okay, Hunger Games and Twilight in the same park. I'm all for it.
You could do like a tour of book-based theme parks because we've got 3 already now that we know of.
Yes,
they're doing a Nintendo World. I think they're doing it.
They are.
They are doing, yeah.
But it's funny you both mentioned Hunger Games because the next podcast that I'm going to be doing with Casey from Lakewood will be the Hey Mitch's story.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
Chris, do you want to read your next one?
Yeah. Have you read any of the book adaptations of video games? Because there are a lot of them out there.
Oh, I think my answer pertained to that instead of the other one.
Mine is super cheesy.
Oh, yes.
Oh, Five Nights at Freddy's. Oh,
they're so popular though. Like,
they're so good. I was absolutely terrified when the game first came out. And the moment I learned that Scott was making books, I was so heavily invested into the lore that I was so hyped. And I'm still so hyped for these books because they're so good and it just offers so much more to the story. Oh, goodness. Yeah, Five Nights at Freddy's.
Did they build on the lore of the story?
They do. It's very weird because the books take a little bit of a different trajectory in comparison to the games. But there's so many little bits and pieces where you're like, okay, I recognize this. Okay, this is something new. Where does this fit in? Does this help piece together the timeline that exists? And it's yes and no all at the same time, but it's so much fun. So if you're someone who really likes the games and wants to know a little bit more about what Scott's thinking, the books definitely help guide you in the direction of figuring out what the timeline is and how everything pieces together. And I just love them.
I think I already answered the question with my previous thing. Chris, did you read it?
Actually, one of my handful of video games I actually did play was Kingdom Hearts, and they had the manga for Kingdom Hearts.
Oh, yeah.
So I think I read like the first volume of that. It counts.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. And then Kingdom Hearts has so much going. This is my same problem with like comic books superheroes, where it's like it's going this way and then this way and then this way, and we've got 10 different arcs. There's like, and I'm like, no, beginning, middle, and end. That's it. So I was like, I've read one volume of the manga, played. I don't even know if I finished the first one.
Oh, wow.
I am not a completion girly. I feel like I got pretty far.
Well, now that
Like,
you're
has anything,
Yeah.
I fought a dragon. I remember I fought a dragon at some point. So that feels like it should be close to the end.
The best part about this is that we're all grown up and we have grown up money because we do grown up things like jobs and taxes. You should use your grown up money and buy it and play it again.
I do still have my PS2.
Yeah, let's go.
It's my most recent. It's my no. I have a Wii as well, like the original Wii. Those are my two consoles I own.
Does it still work though? Does your PS2 still work?
It does. I don't have a working controller, so I can only play DDR because I have the mat for it. But I'm tempted to try and play video games with the mat to see what happens.
All right. I'm going to put this in the chat. This is a retro video game store that I frequent in Brick. It's called J2 Games. They sell retro stuff there at cheap, affordable prices. So I'm sure they sell like N64 stuff and PS2 stuff, PS1 stuff.
I can
So
get
if you need a controller, they'll probably sell it to you for like $10, $15.
Amazing. And then I have a stack of PS2 games that I just like, they were too complicated for me. And it's not like, looking back, they probably were not that complicated. I just really am terrible at video games. I enjoy them. They're fun. I'm not good at it.
But you don't have to be good at it. What matters is that it's an escapism.
Yes.
Are you looking for a blast from the past? Don't forget to tune into Wheeler Talk, the history of Ocean County, a podcast brought to you by me, the local history librarian. Episodes of Wheeler Talk are released monthly right here on OCL Soundwaves. Learn about the rich history of Ocean County with topics such as shipwrecks, historic storms, Ocean County's role in the Revolutionary War, tales of local hauntings, and much, much more.
I think I'll go next. This is another really good question from Chris. What about book adaptations appeal to you? So that's kind of like an umbrella question, Chris. It includes video games and I guess movies too and TV shows. I'll go first. I love them if they're done right. Because there's this line that I feel like creators and showrunners have to straddle. And it's being faithful to the source material, but also building off things that the books have that weren't really talked about in the books and you can make bigger in the show. So I think it's a fine line. I love them personally because when I read a book, I have an idea of what it looks like in my head when I'm reading, how the characters sound and look. But a film adaptation, video game adaptation, or TV adaptation, it might do it in a way that's fresh. And I'm like, oh, wow, I didn't think about it like that.
I'm thinking about the Lego adaptations. So, like the Lego Harry Potter, at one point at the end, you play as Voldemort.
Oh.
After you beat, I forget which game it is, because I didn't actually play them. I just watched them. But you beat everything, and then if you get 100% completion, you get to play as Voldemort. And then do all this bonus stuff as Voldemort, like running around. Harry Potter, especially the later ones, are like scary, but kids start to get into them, and it's like, especially since they're all out, they're like, I want to read the next one. And you're like, maybe my 8-year-old, you should wait a little while before you read book 7. But the Lego adaptations are like so cutesy and fun, where it's like, oh, I killed somebody, but they just Lego piece exploded and then just reassemble. So it's like, okay, maybe wait for the trauma of Hedwig dying, but explode some Lego people, you'll be okay.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, it's just the saddest thing I could.
Hard hitting today. Just the trauma is right.
Yeah. What about you, Caitlin?
I guess it would be the same thing. You know, you do go into really any media that has been from a book where you have the idea of what you're looking at, and then to finally see it come to fruition and exist outside of the text and outside of the book is pretty cool, because then it gives you the opportunity to go, okay, this is where this scene took place. This is where this occurred. This is what the character looked like, and maybe this wasn't what I was thinking, but okay, this is better. And I think that makes it pretty fun because it is a new experience to something that you love and already enjoy.
I have an example that goes along with what Caitlin just said. Game of Thrones. We hated season 8. We hate it. We don't talk about season 8. But because George R.R. Martin, the author, has not written a book in 11 years, 12 years, 13 years, 14 years, getting the show was kind of a blessing because we don't have a book that was adapted for Winds of Winter and everything. The showrunners envisioned what the later seasons of Game of Thrones would be because the books weren't written. And with the exception of season 8, I think they did a really good job.
I think that also brings an interesting question because he was involved to some degree with the script and like plotting out what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But he hasn't written the books. He already has feedback from the audience of what their feelings are and how things went. Is he going to like stick close to what he said was going to happen on the TV show? Or is he going to take that feedback and change what he's planning and doing based on feedback to get a more favorable response? And that's also like a lot of authors that are like, especially are like still writing series are like, do not send me your fanfics. I don't want your ideas. I have my own, and I don't want to be accused of taking your idea, using your idea, or being influenced at all by your ideas. And J.R.R. Martin's like, here's a whole TV show that I can get people's feedback from while I'm still writing. It's interesting, but like that also happens with anime when you hit the filler episodes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so glad they stopped doing it. I'm like, I don't have patience for 100 episodes of filler. Like, just stop, and when the manga has enough for you to make another season, make some more episodes.
Yeah. I really like what you said, Chris, about him possibly changing feedback, doing it right so it ends well. But to be honest, I don't think he's ever going to finish him.
He doesn't have to. He's got that HBO money.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Caitlin, your turn.
Another one from Chris. Have you read adaptations for video games you haven't played?
Oh, wow. That's an interesting question.
Mm-hmm.
I have not.
I think the only one I've ever actually read, and it's just because it was quick, because it was in graphic novel form, was for Horizon Zero Dawn. I watched the gameplay for it, but I don't have the patience to actually play the game. And I've never watched the entire thing, so I figured let me grab the graphic novel and see what the rest is about, because it is a pretty cool story, and the premise is something that could happen in the future, very, very far in the distant future, but there's that possibility that this is something that maybe we need to look out for later on in life.
I don't know if it was included in the graphic novel, but when she finds coffee mugs, it's called an ancient vessel every time. And it's just like different coffee mugs that she just keeps finding. It's like ancient vessel. And I'm like, yeah, that's kind of what we're doing with it's a bowl, but we're like ancient vessel for like museums and stuff. And I was like, the first time I saw that happen, like crying and laughing. I was like, this is chef's kiss. Like, it's so good of like, we do that of like, it's like an everyday item for like the culture it came from. And we're like treating it like it's fancy. And we're like, it's a coffee mug.
Yeah, it's been a while since I read it, so I genuinely cannot remember if that was part of it, but I do recall that from the game because it is so funny, because it's exactly like you said, it is something that so many of us use every day, but like in the future, it's kind of like, oh, what is this? This is now this. And it's just hysterical to think about.
I haven't, but I keep always being like, I'm going to read the Assassin's Creed books because I love Ezio. Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, I have watched large chunks of it get played because my best friend will replay it because she loves it too. So it's like, this is so much fun. So I'm like, oh, I should just read it because I know I'm never going to play it. Especially like, it makes it accessible for people who are like, video games are not my thing. Also, like, gaming systems are expensive. And I'm like, I'm not going to shell out the cash to get a PlayStation 5 to play 2 games. That's crazy. I don't like video games enough to buy a system. And the other thing, I had friends in high school who were like, I don't read. And I'm like, you have read every single one of the Halo books. Every single one. There's like a million of them. They're like, I don't like to read. And I'm like, you're reading all the time? I mean, they're video game books, but like, he could tell me insane backstory, plot, like everything, like reading, comprehending, enjoying everything about this world, and like liked playing the video game so much that like got into reading that way, and then just denied liking reading. And I'm like, would you like a similar book? Because high school me was still like, let me recommend books to people. It is my turn, and I'm going to read Vincent's question. What is it about video games that sparks a passion in you? Is it the story, characters, multiplayer, role-playing, and immersion, etc.?
I love a good story. I think that's why video games is so successful with younger audiences, because it's a story that you take part in, and you can jump in the shoes of the protagonist, especially role-playing games that make you make decisions that affect the story. I just think it's a great way for you to scratch your immersion itch and also just feel like a hero. You feel like a warrior.
I am also definitely solidly story since I watch other people play video games. I'm like, yes. And like the graphics are so good now where I'm like, it's basically a movie. Except we don't know how this is going to go because we don't know if you're going to survive this. We might have to rewatch the same scene a few times. So like, I definitely love the story, but also because I play all the rhythm games, the ones for the PS2, since I actually have that, I am pretty active. But if you're like, you have to do a bunch of sit-ups, I'm like, no, this is terrible. But you want me to play DDR for a couple hours? I'm like, game. I love like, way to be active without you gamified going to the gym essentially. Like, and that's the Switch. The Switch has like that Ring Fit. There we go. Has like Ring Fit where it's like it's actual like you have to do squats and stuff. And again, if I like was willing to buy a new system, it would be the Switch so I could play Ring Fit. And I'm like, I'll do squats if you give me points and like a little achievement badge. I'm like, I'll do that. Other than that, I'm like, I will play a sport so that way I can score points and win that way. But the actual like, oh no, I'm not doing sit-ups. That's also what I like about video games. It's like, okay, so as like now, like since 2002, they've been like physically interactive, and I want to try the VR ones and stuff, especially because there's that place in Tom's River where it has a rhythm game where you have to like swat at things and like other more interactive elements. But I also get horrifically motion sick, and I'm super afraid to go.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I feel that because I want to go too, but for the exact same reason, I can't convince myself to go.
Maybe we'll see each other there. We can hold hands while we are like, oh, Perfect. This is a mistake. We gotta take the visor off immediately.
Yes. Yeah, I can see that happening. I'm totally down.
Moral support.
Yes, totally needed. Yeah, I would probably have to say I'm also very story driven when it comes to video games. I am a movie lover at heart besides reading books. So I really enjoy being in the story and the cinematography that comes with a lot of the story-driven games. And, just being a part of it, especially in the games where you do get to make the decisions, or the role-playing games where you can change the story to make it how you want to be. I think that's really enjoyable, and I love that there is a huge genre of video games just dedicated to that.
It's like a choose your own adventure, which like
yes,
everyone loves to choose your own adventure, and I was like not ready for that element of video games with The Witcher, where I was like, "What do you mean I can have a bad ending based on my answer?" Oh no! So I was like trying to figure out, I'm like, how do I get the good ending where I'm like still have a good relationship with Siri, because I'm like dad mode activated. I was like, apparently I should not have had dad mode activated. So I was like a desperate scramble to try and fix all of my previous answers without going back.
No.
I was like, things I learned about video games right now.
Yes.
I'll read the next one. What are your favorite types of video games and why? What do you game on? Console, PC, handheld, etc. Like I was talking to you all about, my favorite types of video games are the ones that have an offline single player mode for you to experience. But I really like role-playing games. I like games where there's a bar, and if you complete missions or you help people and your bar keeps raising and raising with experience points, and then you go up a level, and then you get to go to a skill tree and see, oh, I want my guy to be stronger, faster, shoot farther, hit harder with a sword. I love those games that make progression. You feel like you're growing yourself.
I know Baldur's Gate exists because I do play
Yes.
D&D. I have like a bunch of friends that play D&D, and I'm like, that feels like that's the same genre of video game.
Exactly. It's 100% the same.
Okay.
Yes.
My friends say words to me, and then they're like, "We know you have no idea." I'm like, "Yep, no idea what you're talking about, but I do understand Dungeons and Dragons." Choices matter.
If you think about it, isn't Dungeons and Dragons one of the very first
RPGs,
video
yeah.
games ever?
I feel like it had to have been, but like, it was definitely like one of the first RPGs of tabletop. You have to like play your character, and like your choices matter, and then you like level up because if your DM is nice, you get to start at a level 5. If they're not, you start at a level 1, and you're like, I got taken out by a splinter. I stabbed my toe and got gangrene. So like it's that progress of I do a thing. I successfully beat the like crab. There's like a meme that's like, oh, level 1 is you're like fighting crabs with a stick. Level 20 is they're purple glowing crabs shooting lasers, and you're beating them with a magical stick. And I'm like, yeah, that's D&D. You just level up and everything just levels up with you, and you're like, I've made progress, but it's still as hard as it was. I need the progress bars, and I'm like, I'm always everything. I'm like all the stats into offense and attack, nothing on defense ever. And I'm like, I have learned nothing from anything. I'm like, if I play barbarian, just let me come in and swing. And even with like Kingdom Hearts, it was like the same setup of. Is Donald? No, Donald can't be defense. That makes no sense.
So Goofy is defense. He throws a shield
Goofy,
and everything.
Yeah, Goofy is defense, Donald, and he never had any stats. I was like, I'm sorry, Goofy, I'm giving you nothing.
Donald was the one who did magic and stuff.
Yeah, Goofy never had any stats. His bar was like the shortest thing ever, and I'm like, I should maybe balance that out better. No, did not change that playing style between then and starting D&D and playing D&D now.
Yeah.
20 years of just all offense.
Caitlin, do you have a video game besides Stardew Valley?
Well, that's the thing is I'm realizing that a lot of the games I play outside of Fortnite, they're all simulations. So I really am definitely in the comfy, cozy, let me kind of build things. I mean, Minecraft is up there. It is the background. I know no one can see this. But, just being able to be completely zen and just piece things together. When Animal Crossing came out for the Switch, it was the best thing ever because it added that crafting element and that just made it that much more fun. And again, same thing with Stardew. They're all kind of in the same category of let me just be super zen, do my thing while also having a simulation setting where I can just be.
I feel like part of my thing with video games is like I want to win things. So like I never understood Animal Crossings when I'd watch. I'm like, but how do I win? How do you win? And it's just like you just enjoy your time. I'm like, huh. But, like there's the Tetris effect that we have.
Oh.
You get very zen and like into what you're doing because you're like focus on the blocks, watch them move down the thing, and it gets more and more complicated. Super zened out on it, but like very much like I have to make the blocks disappear at the same time. Ooh, zen music. I'm like, okay, and they have zen mode option, and I'm like, no, we're gonna see how fast I can like, slam through this because I used to play against my friends and just send scores back and forth when you could play on Facebook. Of like, do better. I understand why people enjoy them, but I'm like, this is not the game for me. Like, I need to have again beginning, middle, end of like achievement. But like, so like Spyro, like beginning, middle, end, a couple of side quests, and then my gaming system's a PS2, or like, the Seaside arcades where you're like, I'm gonna bop around on DDR. So yeah, those are my systems.
Yeah, I just have console. I don't have a PC or any.
I'm a mixture. I have a little bit of everything except for an Xbox.
Do you want to read the last question?
Yeah, I can read the last one. In your humble opinion, what do you consider to be the greatest video game of all time? Or the greatest video game for people to play in order to introduce them to the world of gaming? And why? I feel like I have an answer.
Go for it.
And especially to introduce people to the world of gaming. And, it's a classic, Super Mario Brothers.
Oh, yes.
It's such a classic.
So
everyone knows Mario. so many people know the story without playing. I don't want to say that the new games are easy because the new games are really, really hard. Yeah. But if you go back to the old school platforming version of Mario, it's easy, it's fun, and it just offers a lot because anyone can play them.
That's really good. And Mario is really child friendly. So especially for younger kids.
Very.
I play Mario Kart and Brawl with the teens and tweens here. I was like, I do play at work. And normally it's just kind of try and level the playing field, which is hysterical because I'm like, I'm not great, but there's kids that don't have the system. So I'm in there like keep targeting the one kid that's like, I play at home all the time. And I'm like, gonna take this kid out so everyone else has a chance. And I was like, Mistress will balance the scales in the video game. Because like it's not fun if you're like, well, the kid that plays at home all the time wins every round because they play at home and I only play at the library. And then normally the kids figure out they're like, oh, you're like actually terrible. I'm like, yeah, thank you. They'll sit there and explain how to do the mods on the Mario Kart things. They're like, this is what this does. And I'm like, doesn't matter, kid. I need you to tell me how to throw my power up.
I think I have one. It'll appeal to Christine because she has a PlayStation 2. I had one growing up, and I played this game series called Sly Cooper. So basically it takes place in a world where there's anthropomorphic characters. So these are dogs and cats with feet and hands, and they talk like humans. There's this raccoon called Sly, and he is from a family of master thieves. Him and his two best friends, Bentley and Murray, travel the world to try and steal from the most nefarious criminals. And as a kid, I'm like, isn't stealing bad? But the game is like you're stealing from stealers, so you're not really stealing. It's kind of like this Robin Hood kind of thing. So, but it just like what Caitlin said, that she likes Mario. There's a lot of platforming. You jump on cars, you jump on tight ropes, you sneak underneath air vents to break into their safe. It's really childish. It's obviously like talking animals, but I love it because that's my childhood. That's like nostalgia wrapped in one.
That does sound fun and like something I'd be able to play.
Yeah, you'd love it.
Yeah, I was gonna say Oregon Trail because it's so classic, but it doesn't get you into like modern day video games. So like modern day video games, I want to say like Spyro because you have to go to different worlds. It's a little open map, but it's a contained map situation.
Yeah.
They've got like the side quests. You have to figure out how to control your body and your head looking different directions, which I'm not good at. So sometimes I'm like, I don't know where I'm looking. But it has also again contained achievable where you're like, okay, baby steps into like video games. So now they're so much more accessible. Parents are playing, like my parents played Asteroids. They would go out on a date and then hit the arcade and play Asteroids. Like they weren't bringing Asteroids home.
Yeah.
Like now it's like, oh yeah, like my dad has a console and now the kid can have the age appropriate video games on like their dad's console and play from a much younger age without having to be like playing it at like arcade. I think Spyro, because also they're just fun. Like the first one's a little janky, but they were learning. 2 and 3, amazing and like achievable, except for that like snake slide thing that I'm like, I 100% in this one as a child. Why can't I do it now?
And it's a talking dragon. I mean, that's so fun.
And it was good enough where they re-released it for PS4, which is why I was like, oh, this is my moment. I can play these. I was like, also, they're not like real rough looking anymore.
Spyro was the other one I was thinking of for all the same reasons, because that one, again, another classic. It's another one where people know, like, if you say Spyro, people are going to be like, oh, the dragon. So that's exactly what it comes down to. And I think that is good to take notice of if you do want to introduce someone to gaming, because it just makes that connection that much easier.
I like how we all pick childish, innocent games.
But like that's how you get someone into it.
That's how you do it. That's how you do it.
It's true.
Throwing someone into like the Saw games is not
no
the way to go.
No, definitely not. You want to start off small. Yeah.
So that's not kid friendly or like it's like half quick time actions, which not good at, half puzzle, half why am I fighting? Like this is not what happens in the Saw movies. What is happening? It should all be puzzle based.
Yeah.
We covered a wide variety of stuff.
Yes, we did. And we had a good time talking about it too, which was the most important thing.
So thank you for talking with us and listening to us, and hopefully listen to our next one too. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us today. Be sure to check out the Ocean County Library's website for more podcasts and events. All titles mentioned in today's episode can be found through the Ocean County Library, free with your library card. Until next time, happy reading.
Hello, adventurers. If you enjoy this content, please take a look at the Ocean County Library's new podcast called Forge Your Imagination, a guide to immersive world building. This new podcast is dedicated to helping creative individuals design their own expertly crafted worlds for books, games, Dungeons & Dragons, and more. Tune in on the first Wednesday morning of every month to learn more. Thanks for listening, and safe travels, adventurers.